the governments of Mexico and the U.S. decided to do in the late 70s was try this experiment with artificial imprinting. They called it a head starting experiment, and they were moving baby turtles up to Padre Island and letting them, quote, artificially imprint on Padre Island. So with the hope that they would come back to Padre Island eventually and start a new nesting colony in addition to the major one that was already, which was still going on in Mexico in Tamaulipas. So anyway, what happened was the government sort of became impatient after 10 or so years and decided to reduce the funding. Now they continued the collaboration between Mexico and the U.S. and the overall project in Mexico. But what they decided not to do is to stop bringing eggs from Mexico up to Padre Island for the artificial imprinting experiment. Anyway, so they gave up on that. But in the meantime, of course, Donna Shaver had been hired many years earlier and had started working at the Kemp's Ridley and following up on that project and looking out on the beach every year looking for turtles. And lo and behold, after about 15 years, Kemp's Ridley started to nest again on Padre Island. I say again because there historically had been some nesting apparently documented, but they started coming back in pretty good numbers, and now there's quite a significant nesting beach. So what happened was we sort of gave up on the experiment, but we gave up too early. And interestingly, because the turtles take so long to reach sexual maturity, it did actually work. And the reason we're pretty sure about this is they use various tagging methods. And one of the tagging methods with the little baby turtles, my advisor, Dr. John Hendrickson, worked with Donna Shaver, and they did what they call a living tag experiment, where they take just a little bit of tissue off the bottom or plastron shell, and they implant that onto the carapace or top shell on a specific scute for each particular year. And so what happened as the baby turtles grow, that living tag becomes a white mark on the top of the turtle, on the carapace of the turtle, and they become quite easily identified many, many, many years later. And that's exactly the kind of proof that they had that those turtles are originally from Mexico now, brought to Texas, artificially imprinted in Texas, raised for about a year in Galveston after they imprinted in Padre Island, and then they eventually, 10, 15, 20 years later, came back to Padre Island. So it's a cool story, a cool scientific story, which really a lot of people think proves this idea of imprinting and the fact that artificial imprinting could actually work.